Hey, it's Curly, and it's been God knows how long since I've actually uploaded something Duel Links related to this channel. I think it was sometime early pandemic, but I'm back again. Lately, pretty much every other game, be it physical, digital, whatever, every interest that I have has like started to yank my attention. It's like been vying for my attention lately. Duel Links being one of them. So one of the things that they've added in that I'm showing off now that I'm sure you've seen every other YouTuber talk about. Not that I'm a YouTuber, I guess, but is they've added in this thing called character duels into Duel Links. So what character duels is its own PvP mode that as of right now I think is just content. It's not like the limited duels or I might just be mixing it up with Yu-Gi-Oh 2006, whatever it was that they called it, the like Duelist King, no, it wasn't Duelist Kingdom, but whatever that specific mode was that they had that would appear from time to time and had like its own ban list. This isn't completely different from that. This is a mode where everyone gets a pre-constructed deck. Everyone that has Duel Links gets a bunch of pre-constructed decks that they can use so that they can play in this mode, and you can only use those decks in this specific mode. They give you all of the cards that are in those decks for free. You don't have to do anything. I don't know if like as a brand new player you have to get to like level whatever or something like that, but they give it to you for free. I didn't have to like pay or like do anything to get it, unlock it, no grinding, nothing. And you can use it in this mode. While in this mode, you can go ahead and play against other people that are using the same decks, right? And creates this like interesting little, I guess, dynamic where it's sort of like a draft format or something like that, where everyone kind of has like the same cards that they're all using, which is kind of cool. And it's like, I think you have 3 characters from DM and then 2 characters from GX, 2 characters from 5Ds, and then 2 characters for Zexal, for a total of 9. It excludes pendulums and link summoning, which is really cool. And you can actually finally craft cards, asterisks, in Duel Links because of this game mode. Because as you play this game mode, there is no ranked. You don't like reach king of games or anything in this mode. You just play, grind it out. But once you finish, you get these like specific rewards for this mode called respect orbs for whatever reason, which is funny because I can't I can't nice my opponent, which is like a silly little thing that I'm getting respect orbs, but I can't like give them a nice. But anyways, you get these respect orbs that you can then use to actually exchange for cards, right? Which is kind of insane considering how Duel Links is when it comes to crafting cards. To the point where like I think they just removed the like coin indicator that was at the top, because that would always just sit there for years. You'd just see you'd have like literally 100 million coins just sitting there and never be able to do anything with it. So let's see, once per turn you can detach 1 special summon. No, when a normal monster declares an attack, no, is it Ebon High Magician perhaps? You can activate a quick spell from your hand or opponent's turn. If this is destroyed by battle, you can destroy 1 card in the field. From battle, if this seems something you control is entered by your opponent's card effect or by battle, you can special summon 1 dark spellcaster from your hand and destroy 1 card in the field. So I could do that to crash into it. If I'm reading this right, if this exceeds summon cards, destroyed by battle, sent to the graveyard, and then destroy 1 card in the field. So I think I can exceed summon into Ebony High Magician over here. I guess I didn't really have to do that. Now that I think about it, I just realized I have this lady in my hand. But I could keep her. Yeah, I have to keep her. And then I can swing in here. Okay, I thought they could equip mid-battle, but I guess they can't. So that'll kill that, and then I can use the effect here to summon, I guess, Dark Magician from my hand. And then that, I don't know if that'll activate both effects, but that lets me destroy slash. Oh, it doesn't activate circle. Except during this damage step. Oh, okay. That's why. That's unfortunate. Okay. This can go ahead and swing in here. I don't think that makes a difference right now. I don't know if this is during my opponent's turn. During either. Okay, yeah. So I can have that as like a hand trap for my opponent goes into their turn. Anywho. So yes, you can actually craft cards. You can actually fight. You don't have to grind to get a bunch of cards to play in this mode, and it's been really cool. Everyone's been praising it. Some people have been looking at on the darker side and thinking like, oh, that means we're reaching our end of service, huh? For Duel Links, which would be something crazy because Duel Links is the longest running mobile game that I play and know of, right? Like I'm sure there's many others that are more ongoing. Like the only other example that I have is like Clash of Clans. That's the only thing that I've ever played that's lasted as long as like Duel Links. But that would be kind of nuts if Duel Links were to actually go down. But I don't see that happening, right? Even with all of the not great stuff that Duel Links has been going through, I feel like it'll keep going in. Keep going strong, especially now with this new edition, but we'll see how this goes, right? I would like to see this get expanded on into the future, right? If they can add in a lot more decks or like do a lot of more cool specific things, like make it so that you can only normal summon or do like a Duelix Kingdom mode maybe, and then like have like Jaden and like all the other characters have them have like mock Duelix Kingdom decks, right? That'd be kind of cool, but I'm probably asking for too much. But yeah, that's Duel Links character duels. The other really cool thing that they added in, that's really what got my attention. The character duels is cool. I personally don't like PvP in Duel Links. I don't like. Granted, this is appealing to me, especially because I actually get, you know, solid rewards out of it and whatnot. So this actually kind of encourages me to actually play ranked. I shouldn't say ranked. Play PvP in Duel Links. However, I don't know if I would like, for example, play any of the other modes or something like that, right? It's just kind of like this section of it is nice, but that's about it. I also really like the rush duels. Rush duels are really fun. I would exclusively, whenever I would play Duel Links, it was just for rush duels, right? For a good while. But the point I'm trying to make is that the other thing that was really cool that was brought into Duel Links, that's brought me back into Duel Links, is that they finally did the Doma arc. So we finally have the appearance of Darts, Raphael, Imelda / Alistair, and Valen. Finally, after years. I was so certain that this was just never gonna happen, and now look at us. We finally have a semblance of it, right? Which is just so amazing. Because Valen is my favorite all-time Yugioh character from every series ever. He's the main reason I even, you know, play card games or like enjoy anything of the sort, right? Enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh. Like I liked Yu-Gi-Oh growing up, but Valen was like the silver bullet when it came to me. Like once he showed up, right? The whole Orichalco's arc, to be honest, is why I've played Yu-Gi-Oh for so long, or even like supposedly played Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Even though I've sort of not played it as much, but does he have like Imperm? No, he doesn't. Okay, that's fine. Equal if this card in the field is destroyed. That's fine. I mean, I don't think I want to change this yet. Anywho. Yeah, and they've started the event so far where they give you Imelda, which makes the most sense to an extent. He was like second that I thought would be more likely to come because, oh, I didn't know it actually destroyed something. Whoops. I guess I should have activated then. That's on me. That's fine. We'll just do it on your turn, I guess. Set this and then set this. And then pass on that. But yeah, so they added Imelda, which is really interesting the way that implemented him, because They don't have the Ziggurat, Sky Fortress Ziggurat, which is like his main card. They don't have that. I think there's some like Tag Force game or something like that that actually has that card, but it doesn't exist in the real world. It's also not very good. But given that it's Duel Links, they could have like maybe made that work through the fact that they have skills and like there's a lot less life points and all that jazz, right? Like they could have done something. But instead of that, at least so far, I think he has voice lines for Ziggurat, but he currently doesn't have Ziggurat in this first iteration of the event. But instead what they did is they gave him the Machina cards, which like makes sense on two levels. Like one, you know, like Machina Fortress and a lot of the other Machina cards are very similar to, you know, Ziggurat, so that kind of makes sense. Two, instead of, I guess, which I don't like, but instead of like having, you know, restricting these characters coming in because they don't have their cards in the TCG, the OCG, you can pick corresponding archetypes and decks that are similar enough, right, in the active existing game and give them to these characters, right? I feel like that's decent enough. And that's kind of the route they did with him so far. I kind of expected them to maybe even give him his like fire deck, which he first used against Kaiba, but I don't think that'll be happening, and I'm pretty sure that's not actually in the physical game, unfortunately. So we won't get to see that happening. But of course, now the question is, how are we getting everyone else? Because like Darts is one of the first characters they teased when they were like, "Hey, we're gonna bring out." We ran out of Yu-Gi-Oh series to pour into Duel Links, so we're gonna go back and do the filler arcs for DM, which is kind of insane. I don't know what they're gonna do after that, if I'm being honest, because there's really not that many more filler arcs. There's like one more filler arc, and they can definitely trickle down the support for that for a bit. But after they do that, there's not really a huge amount of stuff for them to go through. But that's, I guess, fine, right? The thing is that we have Darts right now coming in soon, because that's what they've the first character that they showed us, right? Darts and Noah. We already got Noah in an event. He kind of made sense. All of his cards are already in the game. Then there's Darts, who has most of his cards made into the physical game, just with completely different effects, and they suck. But they might be able to power that up through the, you know, the use of like skills and whatnot. Raphael, kind of the same exact thing. His cards aren't actually nerfed; they're just not good, right? So again, they can power up that up with skills. We already went out what they did with Imelda. That leaves the elephant in the room being Valen, who for many years, his cards have never been created in the physical game. We never got the armor cards, which I would go crazy, right, if they ever release the armor cards. I've said a bunch of times, if like they ever release these cards into the game, I will immediately start playing physical Yugioh again, right, and I would get all the cards. And it could like maybe work in Duel Links to an extent, because of the fact that there's less life points, your opponent has less monsters on the field, and that works pretty well with the way that you know, Valen's deck works. Because the way Valen's deck works is that you have to play a bunch of armor cards and essentially equip them to you as the player. And this really only worked in the anime because he had the Seal of Orichalcos, which gave him extra monster zone, so he could equip more than just 5 cards to himself, right? Which made him a lot more stronger. The other thing is that he could only attack once per turn, right? Because it's basically all the armor equips to you as the player, and you attack that one time, and that's it, right? You can't attack with your individual armor pieces or anything like that. So Duel Links, ironically, having limited board space where your opponent only has like 1 or 2 monsters, 3 monsters, technically 4 monsters, right? If you count the extra deck zone, the extra monster zone, or whatever the fuck that shit is called. But you know, it kind of makes it a little bit easier because his whole thing is just basically attacking these monsters and then like dealing burn damage or effect damage to your opponent and destroying them, right? So it could happen. But the problem is that the cards have just never been implemented into the TCG. It'd be super cool if Konami does this thing, which Konami has been like this weird streak lately where they're trying to like redeem themselves, right? Because they announced, like, for example, they've started making Castlevania games again. They released the next collection for Metal Gear, which includes Metal Gear Solid 4, the game that infamously was unplayable anywhere else but the PS4 because of the way that it was designed, right? You can't even emulate that game, and then this Konami came in and actually made it work, which is kind of nuts. And they've even updated the other games in the collection, right? Adding like smoother textures and like other fixes, which is kind of insane. And, you know, then there's this here on the Duel Links side, and I'm sure there's maybe some other things. So it's kind of nuts the way that they've actually started doing stuff to like redeem themselves. So it would be really cool if they did some sort of like synergy with how the Pokemon Company has, where, for example, they released their game Pokemon Legends ZA, which had a bunch of new Mega Evolutions in it. Those Mega Evolutions then trickled down into the TCG, and they kind of did a simultaneous release between the TCG and Pokemon Pocket, and then also the DLC, where these all included that new material of the new Mega Evolutions, which is kind of cool that they kind of made that all line up. So, granted, it doesn't make sense because of the way that, you know, Duel Links works, right? If they were going to release armor cards, they would release them in Japan first rather than in English. But maybe they could, you know, sync something up like that, where like the next booster set happens to have armor cards, and they link that up maybe with like, you know, Duel Links when it releases maybe in English. I don't know, right? That would be really cool if they could do something like that. But I don't think they actually will. I don't think I can actually activate this, right? Because it's in the end of my turn, right? Yeah. So that just kind of sits there. Once per turn, you can send this, and if you do for each, you gain an additional battle phase this turn. Okay. It's gonna destroy both of them, so I'm dead. Cool. Awesome. But all that to say is that I'm really hoping and praying and excited for if and when they decide to bring in Valen into Duel Links, which is all I'm really looking forward to. I would honestly be much happier if they bring him into Duel Links than the actual TCG. I don't really care about the TCG like that. That said, I am probably playing the TCG in the near future because they have the new Clown Clan cards, which I adore because they look like Alan Walker, and I love me, you know, clown stuff. So I will be picking that up. Whether or not I'll actually be doing anything with that is a completely different story. We'll see how that all shakes out. But yeah, there's just been a lot of like different properties just vying for my attention. Like, you know, I've been playing a lot of Pokemon Pocket recently. I've been playing the Pokemon Live TCG. I've been trying to play the physical game. Vanguard has actually been not a horrible franchise in the last couple of weeks. So, a lot of things going on. But just wanted to quickly upload a video on this. Who knows if we'll get more Duel Links content for me to upload in the future. But just kind of wanted to talk about my thoughts on this real quick. Here's the Respect Orb that you can get. The other thing I forgot to talk about is that with the Respect Orb, you can exchange for cards that you get to use, but you can also upgrade. I was a little bit, you know, hesitant about this one, but you can also upgrade your character that you're using. So what that does is that the grades, and the higher grade you have, you get to actually change out a card that you have in your deck. Which I was kind of like, what's the point of having pre-constructed if you're going to change cards, right? But you can only change up to 5 cards if you like grind it out. So it's not like super crazy. So it's kind of cool. But then, yeah, you can actually exchange for like actual cards here. You know, not the most insane selection, but actually being able to exchange for cards is pretty nuts. Anyways, they also have these other items like this one that I think just gives you an experience level. And of course, gems. But these, I think, refresh every month. So I think they start April 1st. It's going to refresh May 1st. Anyways, thanks for stopping by. Take care of yourselves and each other, and have yourselves a damn good one.